Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jenny.
Good morning, Dr.
The lady in green.
Yes. I love our color theme today. You are caramel. No, I know you're not going to tell me.
I'm not going to say one word. Good morning, darling.
Good morning. How are you?
One word. I'm great.
Good morning, Rafai.
Morning, Audrey. How are you?
I'm doing excellent.
You're looking lovely and green.
Well, thank you so much, as always. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, President Joe Biden announced a ban on Russian oil and other imports on Tuesday in retaliation for the invasion of Ukraine, underscoring strong bipartisan support for a move that he acknowledged will drive up U.S. energy prices.
We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine.
In the United Kingdom, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky invoked the words of Britain's wartime leader, Winston Churchill, as he appealed to MPs for more help in fighting Putin's soldiers. Zelensky received a standing ovation as he spoke to the House of Commons via video, thanking the UK for its support while calling for Russia to be named a terrorist state. Under sports, the Premier League on Tuesday suspended its broadcast deal with Russia following the country's invasion of Ukraine. The English top flight also announced that it will donate £1 million to support the people of Ukraine. In a separate move, the Football Association also suspended its deal with Russia.
If I should stay.
Finally, under entertainment, music legend Dolly Parton dedicated this year's Academy of Country Music Awards ceremony to the people of Ukraine, calling on viewers to pray for peace. The 76-year-old is the latest celebrity urging people to support Ukrainians, with Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling pledging to match donations up to £1 million, while Ukrainian-born actress Mila Kunis and husband Ashton Kutcher both set up a fund targeting $3 million to support refugees.
I want us to send our love and hope to our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. Yeah. So why don't we just dedicate this entire show to them and pray for peace around this crazy old world.
Well, let's begin what's trending. As the world marked International Women's Day on Tuesday, March 8th, President Muhammadu Buhari applauded the contributions of women in his administration while observing that women in Nigeria are not where they ought to be in different spheres of endeavor, and admitted that they can no longer be deprived. This is coming as the House of Representatives rescinded its decision on 3 gender bills in the Constitution Amendment. The bills are on indigenship, citizenship, and 35% affirmative action for women. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, said that the bills will be recommended for consideration and will be part of the second batch of the Constitution Amendment to be presented in a couple of months.
The House, in its wisdom, has decided to take a course of action for the good of the country. And that action is to rescind 3 of the decisions that were taken on that day, and after the rescission, release them.
Well, in the meantime, human rights activist Aisha Yesufu was among the many women who stormed the National Assembly on Tuesday to protest against the rejection of the gender equity bills.
When I'm asking for gender equality, I'm not saying I want to be a man. I'm okay with the woman that I am. When we are asking for equality, we do not say we want the job of a man. We are only saying pay us based on what you bring to the table. When we are asking for equality, we are not saying that a boy should not be in the class classroom, we are only saying that there's a seat for a girl. When we are asking for equality, we are not saying that the child boy should not be heralded with joy. We are only saying that girl child should also be welcome. When we are asking for equality, we are not saying that we want to beat up men. We are simply saying that we are human beings and not toys, mere toys to be joined with. When we are asking for equality, we are not saying that we do not want men to inherit. We are saying that we as women can also inherit and be inherited for. When we are asking for equality, we are not saying that the man must do the cooking. We are saying whoever wants to cook should be allowed to cook. When we are asking for equality, we are not saying that we must be the head. We are saying we are also partners in the relationship. And so, at the end of the day, the equality that we are asking for is not taking anything away from them. Why the bad belly?
I love it. Why the bad belly, Tundu? I mean, I think it's impossible for them to have, thought about those 3 bills to be rescinded. But I think all of them should be included. I don't know why they should just do only 3 of them.
Because those 3 were such an affront. And I just want to say that it's really important that the House of Representatives has set this example, that it's when you are wrong, you should admit that you are wrong and then correct the wrong. The Speaker did try to caution them. You recall that, don't you? But they didn't listen. But now they have listened to the voices of Nigerian women. They're deafening roar. And I remember that song from the 70s, and Woman Hear Me Roar. That's exactly what we saw yesterday. So I'm extremely proud of all the women's groups that applied pressure on the House of Representatives. And I'm glad that they did not dig their heels in needlessly. I mean, Aisha Yesufu had to explain exactly what the demand is. And it's really important that she did so, because there's a lot of a knee-jerk rejection whenever the words gender equality is raised, because people automatically think women should know their place, women are trying to take over. It's not about you, in the common parlance. It has nothing to do with men. It's about us and our full actualization as human beings and citizens of this country. That's what it is. So it's not a threat to the position of men, not at all. And this whole thinking of, there's only a little bit to go around, that this one gender should hoard it, is exactly what she's speaking about. It's all about inclusivity. Nobody's leaving you out. Nobody's trying to dominate you, because those ideas are really quite scary to a lot of men. So it's very important that she explained it. It's not a threat to men's existence. It's not a threat to men's progress. It's really about us. And that's just what it is.
Dr. Abati.
But men should be involved in the struggle.
Yes. There were some men out there.
At a point in this country, women in Nigeria, had a lot of men who were members and who tried to push the ideological point about the damage that is done to society when you reduce the capacity of half of that population. In this regard, women. You extend it for the youths, okay? And so this is about inclusion. It's about the empowerment of the marginalized segments of the society. I think, this conversation this morning should indicate some kind of commendation for civil society groups.
Yes.
Who on March 2 went out there and said, look, this misogyny, this extension of patriarchy is unacceptable. And yesterday, when they came out again on the occasion of the International Women's Day to react to those clauses relating to women empowerment and equality rights, they've made the same point that, look, we have a voice. And I think it's important for marginalized persons in our society to continue to speak up. So the Women Coalition in Nigeria have done very well. Now, as to the reaction by the House of Representatives expressed by the Speaker, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, well, what he has said, yes, it's some kind of response, a reflection of the fact that the House has heard the protesters, the civil society organizations, reacting to decisions taken by the National Assembly. But even what he has said remains a proposal. I mean, he has just one voice. He has just, I guess, one vote. Okay? But he's saying that they will look at 3 issues. Indigenship, which has to do with the right of a woman after 5 years of marriage to claim, the indigenship of her husband's space, right? But what happens also, if we stretch it further, to women who are not married to anybody? and who have lived in a particular state for some time. Citizenship, that has to do with the right of a foreign spouse of a Nigerian woman to also, claim citizenship of Nigeria. The third one has to do with affirmative action. Affirmative action in two regards: 35% representation in public positions, and also 35% representation in political parties. The House in particular argued over that, particularly with political appointments, whether it should be 20% or it should be 35%. But it's not only the House that will determine this matter at the end of the day. There's no guarantee that when the House reconvenes and begins that second process of determining these bills, that the House will vote in unison. So that's where advocacy should now be targeted.
Well, they're going to continue.
Yeah, that's where advocacy should be targeted. That all these men with, 28 children, multiple wives and all of that, who do not believe in the importance of women beyond their own selfish interests, should vote. They should see this as a major issue in terms of national development. And then, of course, there's still the Senate. The House cannot on its own take a decision. The Senate has not responded the way the House has responded through the Speaker. So there's still that problem. So it's still a journey. The Women Coalition of Nigeria must not drop the ball. They should keep up the pressure, and other stakeholders should be involved in this struggle to further empower women beyond the private zone, where women already, are powerful, but we're talking about the public space, the public decision-making process, the health reproductive decision-making process of women, and ensuring that nobody is discriminated against, as Section 42 of the 19th Constitution tells us, either on the basis of gender or faith or background.
Yeah, I love the point that you made about other stakeholders. President Buhari has added his voice. Yesterday it was former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, all talking about the appreciation of women, really, from Women's Day. And I think that it's so important that these people are speaking up for us. Rufai.
It is sad that as a society in 2022, it had to take protest by women for a National Assembly that's supposed to speak for the people, a parliament, a parlement that's supposed to speak for the people, to put a very important bill that concerns women, the largest voting bloc in every country. So take a look at it again. No matter what Honorable Benjamin Abila does, it is a failure in our society already. That we can't think that we even have the temerity to elect people that will go there and shut down bills that are supposed to better society. It's even a shame that we're dealing with people like that in our National Assembly.
Complete shame. It's
a shame that we have a group of persons in our National Assembly that we're trying to pass a child not bride. A child bride law to make it official or legal to marry 12 or 13-year-olds. It is a shame. What is that? Is that not pedophilia? So it is a shame that we have failed as a society. What this is cover face or save face. But it's not going to work. Women out there, a luta continua, Victoria Asata. This is the time to start the battle.
Very well
It has just started. Every lawmaker across the states in the country, you must get their numbers now and bombard them with calls. Every senator, bombard them with calls. Women out there, you are married to these people, these lawmakers, start to disturb them. Put pressure on them until they do what is right for the country. And let's not also stop there. Let's not also rest until we start in this next election cycle, 2023, we want to get female governors in states elected, democratically elected.
Absolutely.
And if possible, let's stretch it further. A female president. We must build a society that is fair for all, that people can aspire. Heard the story of Zain Asha, that when a woman like Femi Okpe was succeeding, he gave her permission. What are we turning society into? And you think this is going to be a pat on the back? No, it doesn't cut it for me at all.
I love it.
A luta continua.
Absolutely.
Rufai, when you say these women should talk to their husbands, I hope you are not recommending Aristophanes' strategy
Dr.
in Lysistrata.
If possible, they should strike. Private strikes.
Well, I don't want to go into the details of Lysistrata by Aristophanes.
We shall take another story then. In the wake of discussions and controversies surrounding Russia's invasion of Ukraine, an old video highlighting the United Kingdom's involvement in Nigeria's civil war has resurfaced. In the video, MPs revealed that they must continue to supply weapons to Nigeria during the war so that Nigeria does not fall into the hands of Russia.
Many of Britain's former colonies were being torn apart by civil war. In Nigeria, the federal government were fighting a vicious campaign to stop Biafra from seceding. The British government was secretly supplying the federal side with weapons. Their aim was to protect Britain's oil interests in Nigeria.
Should we stop sending arms to Nigeria? Whether this would have any effect or not, should we stop sending them now?
Yes.
Hugh Fraser.
To my mind, it's very simple, and the answer is yes. The alternative is, as proposed by people like Woodrow Wyatt, an MP in the Times today, to keep up with the Russians. This is morally absolutely intolerable. It's politically inept. Your policy is losing out. You're making a fool of ourselves throughout the world. The people are regarding this country with moral obloquy. It's not this merely question. The policy has failed.
If we don't supply arms to the Nigerian government, the Russians are going to go on doing it. The Russians have told the Nigerian government that whatever happens, they're going to see them through to victory. Well, is it wise that we should allow the whole of this vast area, with 52 million people in it, with more oil in it than Kuwait, to fall into the hands of the Russians? I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
Well, I mean, this is the conversation about the West's involvement in, trying to stop Russia and aggravating Russia as well. So, I mean, I think the voice of the people that are for the war, for Russia at this point, I mean, I don't even know why at this point, because they're killing people. I think that's the voice at this moment, Tundu, for the people that are for Russia.
Well, you don't really have to be for Russia, because I'm not. I'm never going to support any blood-splattered war criminals. But the fact of the matter is that there's a lot more nuance to this issue than the binary narrative that we're fed of America is so good, or the West is good and Russia is evil. That is not the case. It's not that black and white. There's a lot of gray in that situation. And what they were expressing here, I think, was espoused most famously by Eisenhower, the domino theory. Basically, was referring to Asia, but if one country falls to communism, then their neighboring countries will fall like dominoes. So they're trying to prevent that. And that whole nature abhors a vacuum. If we are not supplying arms to Nigeria, there's a vacuum, and Russia will come, and before we know it, the whole of West Africa. Okay, well, it's Eisenhower, but it was being practiced before that with Truman, but that's what he's trying to express. And this is realpolitik at its most ugly. So there's no situation where either one of these sides are so fantastic.
Exactly.
You know that American rhetoric, axis of evil, and by that definition, then who is good? Certainly not you, America, and certainly not you, Britain. And I just feel like it's important to remind ourselves of this, that it's not about any individual or any nation. It's all about interests. And we're all being used in Africa as a football in this geopolitical match, and we're being kicked about. So what we need to do is really focus on ourselves and how to empower ourselves as Africans, and how we do not kill each other. Because this whole situation, this interview would never have arisen if Nigerians did not decide to attack each other and kill each other. 1 million people died in that war. It's completely senseless as far as I'm concerned.
Very apt.
Okay, this is what I think. I think that video is to be placed in the context of Soviet Union-Nigerian relations. This was a video coming out of the civil war in Nigeria. And that was, the main context about it is the Cold War. Now, around that time, you had this conflict between the Soviet Union, not even Russia, between the Soviet Union and the West, which is the battle that has been there for a very long time, Second World War and all of that. Okay, so with regard to Nigeria, under Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa, Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa didn't look towards the East. He was more aligned towards the West. But there was that competition, for Africa. If you like, you call it the second scramble for Africa, which was ideological. But when the Civil War occurred in Nigeria between 1967 to 1970, you had the Soviets coming in, trying to support Nigeria. And the West, what that tape is just telling us, that the West was saying, look, if you allow the Soviets to take over Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, that could have implications within the context of the Cold War. When the war ended in 1970, the Soviet Union president at the time was Nikita Khrushchev, and Nikita Khrushchev was looking towards Africa. Nigeria's ambassador to the Soviet Union was a gentleman called George Kurubo. And George Kurubo had issued a statement in Moscow thanking the Soviets for supporting Nigeria. And the Soviets also issued a statement thanking Nigeria and congratulating the federal government of Nigeria on winning the war. So that was a problem. So you had the West then focusing heavily on Nigeria. But after the Civil War, and General Gowon was the man, effectively in the saddle. From Gowon, gradually down the line, the relationship after Khrushchev, between Nigeria and the Soviet Union was not as strong as it would have appeared to have been. So all of this, just to summarize, is in the context of the Cold War. Now, what we're having now, it seems like, is that after the Soviet Union disintegrated, you have a Putin who is trying to reinvent the Cold War. Okay? And Tuno's point is very right about she consistently saying, do not die in their war.
Absolutely.
Because what they are defending is their own economic self-interest.
As always.
So,
quickly.
That video, very apt, and I'll still narrate to what is happening now. I mean, if you read Francis Fukuyama's op-ed in the Financial Times over the weekend, he was talking about the liberal world and the liberal world. So it's still a collusion of forces, just like the Cold War. The zeitgeist then was really apt, because a lot of people felt Nigeria was going to fall to the Soviet Union, the path of communism. And that didn't stop, even after the Civil War. If you remember the Murtala Mohammed coup, one of the words peddled around town was that, he was aligning with communists. And that was why that coup happened. There was that talk around town. And that's why Nigeria had to take a stance to be on the non-aligned side. That we're not for the West, that we're not for the Soviet Union in any conflict. And I think that's pretty much the foreign policy outlook of Nigeria till date. So it just shows you that interests abound in the world, but we should also be careful. I think what is formative is the fact that nobody cares truly about Nigeria.
Yeah.
If all hell breaks loose today, nobody will care. It's only about their interests and what makes them better.
Again,
because the so-called arms that the British gave Nigeria during Biafra was not free. Nigeria bought it with a lot of money.
Absolutely.
They spent a lot on the war.
To your point about
do not die in their war. I think we don't have time anymore.
Was socialist. Modibo Keita of Mali and Ahmed Bembala of Algeria who shifted towards the communists. They were all removed through coups. Okay? So there's that contestation.
And it was Harold Wilson, not the Queen. I have to correct the placards.
Thank you all for your beautiful analysis, as always. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you tomorrow.